Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by. Welcome to Aesthetic Medical International's third quarter 2020 unaudited financial results conference call. During today's presentation, all parties will be in a listen-only mode. This conference has been recorded today, Monday, November 30, 2020. If you require operator assistance, please press star then 0. Joining us today from Aesthetic Medical International are the company's chairman and CEO, Dr. Peng Zhou, and the company's IRD, Mr. Zheng-Yik Wang, and the company's financial officer, Mr. Guanhua Wu. Before we get started, I would like to remind you that some of the information discussed will include forward-looking statements regarding future events and our future financial performance. These include statements about our future expectations, financial projections, and our plans and prospects. Actual results may differ materially from those set forth in such statements. For discussion of the risks and uncertainties, you should review the company's filings with the SEC, which includes today's press release. You should not rely on our forward-looking statements as predictions of future events. All forward-looking statements that we make on this call are based on assumptions and beliefs as of today, and we undertake no obligation to update them except as required by applicable law. Our discussion today will include non-IFRS financial measures, including Ebitda, adjusted profit, and adjusted Ebitda. You should not consider Ebitda, adjusted Ebitda, and adjusted profit as a substitute for or superior to net income prepared in accordance with IFRS. Furthermore, because non-IFRS measures are not determined in accordance with IFRS, they are susceptible to varying calculations and may not be comparable to other similarly titled measures presented by other companies. You are encouraged to review the company's financial information in its entirety and not rely on a single financial measure. At this time, I would like to turn the call over to Mr. Peng Zhou, Chairman and CEO of Aesthetic Medical International. His opening remarks will be delivered in English by IRD Mr. Zheng-Yik Wang. Mr. Zhou, please go ahead.
好，谢谢主持人，感谢大家今天参加医美国际2020年第三季度财报业绩的投资者会议。首先，我来为大家总结一下2020年第三季度公司针对新冠疫情的应对措施，以及2020年第三季度公司的业绩情况，然后再由我们的投资者关系总监蒋总更详细的解读和阐述我们的财务报表、公司的运营状况、公司未来发展的相关情况和当前情况下我们如何实施本财年的主要举措。
Thank you, operator, and everyone for joining Aesthetic Medical International's third quarter 2020 unaudited earnings conference call today. I will begin my remarks by providing an overview of the company's response to the COVID-19 outbreak during the third quarter 2020, followed by a summary of the company's third quarter 2020 performance. Then Dr. Zheng-Yik Wang, our IRD, will review our financial results and operations performance in more detail, and she will elaborate a few other items related to our outlooks and the approaches we are taking to implement our initiatives in this fiscal year.
尽管目前新冠疫情在中国已经得到了有效的控制，但我们还依然实施严格彻底的新冠防控的方案和举措，包括但不限于定期对公司的设施进行消毒和通风，采取严格的防护措施来保护我们的一线员工 和客户，拓开员工的午餐时间，监控员工和客户的体温，以及记录员工及其家属旅行的历史和健康的状况。
Despite the fact that the COVID-19 is under effective control in China at this current stage, we are implementing a thorough COVID-19 prevention scheme and measures, including but not limited to regularly sterilizing and ventilating the company's facilities, taking strict protective measures to protect our frontline employees and customers, segregating employees' lunch times, monitoring the body temperature of our employees and customers, and keeping track of the travel history and health of our employees and their immediate family members.
我很荣幸地宣布，在2020年第三季度，我们的活跃客户总数已达到83222，与2019年三季度的71502相比，增长了16.4%。这也反映了在应对新冠疫情的冲击和新冠疫情不可预测性的过程中，我们的管理层所表现出来的应变能力和我们的业务弹性。与此同时，主要通过收购广东恒爱航飞医院管理有限公司以及整合产业链，我们的核心业务举措得到了良好的实施，并且我们在医美行业的市场份额因此有所加强。
I'm very pleased to announce that for the third quarter of 2020, we recorded a total number of active customers of 83,222, achieving an increase of 16.4% from 71,502 in the third quarter of 2019. This reflects our management agility and business resilience despite the full burnout and the unpredictability brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, our core business initiatives were well executed, and our market share in the aesthetic medical industry were strengthened primarily through our completion of the acquisition of Guangdong Pengai Hanfei Hospital Management Co. Limited and our integration of the industry chain.
截止2020年9月底，我们在中国的所有医美机构都已经恢复营业。在2020年第三季度，公司业务情况已经完全恢复，并且超越了去年同期。随着中国从新冠疫情的影响中逐步的恢复，根据市场目前释放出的信号，我们的业务和整个医美行业开始复苏，消费者正在适应新常态，他们对医美服务的消费热情也在逐步恢复。除了优化资源配置，以着重提高客户粘性和品牌知名度以外，具有可持续性的长期增长和回报依然是我们的首要任务。
By the end of September 2020, all of our aesthetic treatment centers in China has resumed operations. In the third quarter of 2020, the company's business operation has resumed to the same or even surpassed the same period last year. The markets have been signaling the recovery in our business and the aesthetic medical industry as China gradually recovers from the aftermath of COVID-19 outbreak. Customers are adapting to the new normal and gradually restoring their constant enthusiasm in consuming aesthetic medical service. In addition to allocating our resources to focus on enhancing our customer stickiness and improving our brand awareness, long-term growth and turns with an emphasis on sustainability, remains our priority.
以下简要浏览我们2020年第三季度财报业绩。正如大家从我们的财报中所见，尽管新冠疫情的影响尚未完全消除，我们的活跃客户总数和财务表现在2020年第三季度已有所恢复。因此，我们的收入由2019年同期的人民币2.379亿元增加至2020年第三季度的人民币2.813亿元，和4140万美元，涨幅约为 18.2%。我们的毛利由2019年同期的人民币1.643亿元增加至2020年第三季度的人民币1.797亿元和2650万美元，涨幅约为 9.4%。
Turning back quickly to our third quarter 2020 unaudited result, you can see from our earnings release, our total number of active customers and financial performance in third quarter 2020 has recovered despite the fact that the aftermath of COVID-19 outbreak has not been completely eliminated. Therefore, our revenue increased by 18.2% to RMB 281.3 million, approximately equals to $41.4 million in third quarter 2020 from RMB 237.9 million in third quarter 2019, and our gross profit increased by 9.4% to RMB 179.7 million, which is approximately equals to $26.5 million in the third quarter of 2020 from RMB 164.3 million in the same period of 2019.
再次感谢大家的支持和关注。接下来将由我们的投资者关系总监蒋总代表管理层汇报我们2020年第三季度和前9个月的运营和财务业绩，以及对未来的规划。有请蒋总。
Thank you again for all your support and attention. Next, I will turn the call over to Mr. Sunny Guang, our IRD, who will reveal our operation result and financial result for the third quarter of 2020 and the 9 months end September 30th, 2020, as well as our business outlook on behalf of the management team. Mr. Sun, please go ahead. Thank you, Dr. Zhou, and good morning, everyone. Next, on behalf of the management team, I will summarize some of the key unaudited financial results and operation results for third quarter 2020 and 9 months end September 30th, 2020. So first of all, third quarter 2020 unaudited financial results. In this quarter, our total revenue increased by 18.2% to RMB 281.3 million, which is about $41.4 million. The increase in the total revenue was primarily due to the acquisition of Guangdong Penai Hefei Hospital Management Corporation Limited, and the increased total number of active customers developed through the company's enhanced marketing and advertising efforts. The gross profit was RMB 179.7 million, which is $26.5 million, an increase of 9.4% from RMB 164.3 million in the third quarter of 2019, primarily as a result of the increase in revenue due to the acquisition of the Guangdong Penai Hanfei and the expand customer base. The gross profit margin was 63.9%, a decrease of 5.2% points from 69.1% in the third quarter of 2019, mainly due to the more competitive pricing strategy adopted by the company, and it's subsidized in response to the outbreak of COVID-19. The gross profit of non-surgical aesthetic medical service was RMB 87.7 million, which is about $12.9 million, a decrease of 19.4% from RMB 108.8 million in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit margin was 63.4%, a decrease from 75.2% in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit of minimal invasive aesthetic treatment was RMB 46.5 million, which is about $6.8 million, an increase of 36% from RMB 34.2 million in the third quarter of 2019. Gross profit margin was 65.7%, an increase from 64.8% in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit of energy-based treatment was RMB 41.1 million, which is about $6.1 million, a decrease of 44.9% from RMB 74.6 million in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit margin was 60.8%, a decrease from 81.2% in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit margin of surgical aesthetic medical service was RMB 86.1 million, which is about $12.7 million, an increase of 65.9% from RMB 51.9 million in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit margin was 66.8%, an increase from 64.2% in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit of general health care service and other aesthetic medical service was RMB 5.9 million, which is about $0.9 million, an increase of 59.5% of RMB 3.7 million in the third quarter of 2019. The gross profit margin was 41.8%, an increase from 29.8% in the third quarter of 2019. The selling expenses was RMB 140 million, which is about $20.6 million, representing 49.8% of the company's total revenue of the same period, comparing to selling expenses of RMB 103.5 million in the third quarter of 2019, which represent 43.5% of the company's total revenue of the same period. Selling expenses increased on a year-over-year basis, primarily because of the company's enhancing its marketing efforts and advertising and the marketing expenses to expand the brand's reach, boost sales, and attracting new customers. The general and administrative expenses were RMB 61.1 million, which is about $9 million, an increase of 14.4% from RMB 53.4 million in the third quarter of 2019, primarily due to the increase of share-based compensation expenses, which was first recognized in June 2019, and the acquisition of Guangdong Penai Hansei. As a result of the foregoing, the company's record a loss of for the third quarter of 2020 of RMB 17.7 million, which is about $2.6 million compared with a profit of RMB 118.8 million RMB in the third quarter of 2019. Basic loss per share was RMB 0.26, which is about 4 cents compared with the basic earning per share of RMB 2.77 in the third quarter of 2019. Diluted loss per share was RMB 0.26, which is about 4 cents compared with the diluted loss per share of RMB 0.12 in the third quarter of 2019. The Ebitda for the third quarter of 2020 was RMB 6.9 million, which is about $1 million, a decrease of 19.4% from RMB 151.3 million in the third quarter of 2019. The adjusted profit for the third quarter of 2020 was RMB 6.9 million, which is about $1 million, a decrease of 65.8% from RMB 20.2 million in the third quarter of 2019. The adjusted Ebitda for the third quarter of 2020 was RMB 31.5 million, which is about $4.6 million, a decrease of 39.1% from the RMB 51.7 million in the third quarter of 2019. The 9 months end September 30th, 2020 unaudited financial result. For the 9 months end September 30th, our total revenue decreased by 14.6 to RMB 539.0 million or $79.4 million. The decrease in total revenue was primarily due to the temporary shutdown of the company's treatment center in February and March of 2020, and all those control measures implemented by the companies to limit the customer flow in the treatment centers due to the outbreak of COVID-19 during the first quarter and second quarter of 2020, and the more competitive pricing strategy adopted by the company and its subsidized in response to the outbreak of COVID-19. The gross profit was RMB 309.8 million, which is about $45.6 million, a decrease of 28.1% from RMB 430.9 million in the same period of 2019, primarily as a result of the decrease in the revenue in the first quarter and the second quarter of 2020 due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The gross profit margin was 57.5% and decrease of the 10.8 8% point from the 68.3% in the same period of 2019, primarily as a result of the decrease in revenue in the first quarter and the second quarter of 2020 due to the COVID-19 outbreak. And the gross profit margin for the non-surgical aesthetic medical service was RMB 150.9 million, and the gross profit margin of minimal invasive treatment was RMB 83.7 million. The gross profit of energy-based treatment was RMB 67.2 million. The gross profit of the surgical aesthetic medical service was RMB 145.4 million. The gross profit of the general healthcare service and other aesthetic medical service was RMB 13.5 million. The selling expenses was RMB 310.5 million, representing 57.6% of the company's total revenue of the same period, comparing to the selling expenses of RMB 267.8 million in the same period of 2019. The general and administrative expenses was RMB 168.8 million, which is an increase of 41% from RMB 119.7 million in the same period of 2019, due to the increase of share-based compensation expense, which was first recognized since June 2019. As a result of the foregoing, the company recorded a loss for the 9 months end in September 30th, 2020 of RMB 165.2 million, which is about $24.3 million, compared with a profit of RMB 198.9 million in the same period of 2019. The basic loss per share was RMB 2.43, which is about 33 cents of US dollar. And the Ebitda for the 9 months end for the September 30th, 2020 was a loss of RMB 98 million, which is about $14.4 million US, a decrease of 133.1% from a profit of RMB 295.7 million in the same period of 2019. The adjusted profit for the 9 months end was RMB 82.5 million, which is about $12.1 million US dollar. The adjusted Ebitda for the 9 months end was a loss of RMB 15.2 million, which is about $2.2 million US, a decrease of 109.9% from a profit of RMB 153.3 million in the same period of 2019. And now I am going to share with you about our operational results. The repeat customers, defined as active customers who have previously received at least one procedure from the company, account for 56.8% of the company's active customers based in the third quarter of 2020. the company conducted a total 187,847 treatments, including about 49,551 surgical treatments and 132,393 non-surgical treatments in the third quarter of 2020, representing an increase of 14.6% and 27.8% and 14.3% respectively from 163,943 total treatments and 38,764 surgical treatments and 115,799 non-surgical treatments in the third quarter of 2019. Repeat customers account for 58.6% of the active customers base in the 9 months end September 30th, 2020. And for the 9 months end, the company conducted a total 413,077 treatments, including 86,792 surgical treatments and 297,076 76 non-surgical treatments, representing an increase of 14.8%, 30%, and 13.1% respectively from 360,471 total treatments and 66,748 surgical treatments and 263,000 and 235 non-surgical treatments in the same period of 2019. Now for a quick summary of our balance sheet and cash flow. As of September 30th, we had a cash and cash equivalents of RMB 66.2 million, which is about $9.8 million, and RMB 154.5 million as of December 31st, 2019. The net cash used in operating activities was RMB 19.7 million, which is about $2.9 million for the 9 months end, compared to the net cash generated from operating activities of RMB 99.6 million for the same period of 2019. The net cash used in investing activity was RMB 106.9 million, which is about $15.7 million and the net cash generated from financing activities was RMB 33.3 million, which is about $5.6 million for the 9 months end. And for our other developments, on October the 13th this year, the company announced that its board of directors had approved a share repurchase program under which the company was authorized to repurchase in the open market up to $6 million worth of its ADS from time to time until October 12th, 2021, depending on general market conditions and trading price and other factors, as well as subject to the applicable laws and the company's security trading policy. As of November 30th, 2020, 45,000 ADS was repurchased with a total consideration of approximately $0.3 million. And for our business outlook, as China gradually recovers from the aftermath of the COVID-19 outbreak, the company has experienced a recovery in its business operations. While the duration of the COVID-19 pandemic and its negative impact to market demand and the company's business operations still cannot be conclusively and accurately estimated at the same time, since there is still uncertainty for the possible COVID-19 outbreak in the future. The company currently expects that its revenue for the fourth quarter of this year will be gradually recovered. Such expectation reflects the current and preliminary view of the company's management team based on the information available at this time and may be subject to change. The company will continue to monitor and evaluate the development of the pandemic and the result financial impact on the company. The liquidity and capital resources. The company has net current liability of RMB 236.2 million RMB as at the September 30th this year. From the second quarter of fiscal year 2020 to the third quarter of fiscal year 2020. And the company's completed 3 acquisitions, leading to a potential cash flow amounting to approximately RMB 54 million in the coming 12 months after the date of this release. During the first quarter of 2020, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, the company shut down its aesthetic treatment centers. This creates medical and adverse impact on its revenue and cash flow for the first half of 2020, with potential continuing impact on subsequent periods. After considering the gradually recovery of business post the COVID-19 outbreak, its expected cash flow from future operations, taking into considerations cost-cutting measures, funds from bank borrowings, and other source of financing. The company concluded that it has sufficient financial resources to meet its financial obligations as and when they fall due in the coming 12 months. At last, I would like to add some color regarding our company strategy in the year of 2020. We plan to stay focused on integrating the aesthetic medical industry change. During the past few years, the aesthetic medical industry has been evolving from niche to mass market consumption, with higher consumption demand and more standardizing and diversifying products and services, and other high level of brand recognitions. To adapt to this market trend, we strive to become an aesthetic medical company with more competitive medical capability. The ability to provide a full cycle service, and more importantly, with well-recognized brands and a larger business scale. To that end, we need to quickly increase our business scale to improve our competitive strength, our market share, and accordingly our profitability. Our strategy is crystal clear. It is to make good use of our funding capability to consolidate good targets with attractive valuation. Now, I would like to turn the discussion over to the operator, Andrew, for any questions. Andrew.
We will now begin. Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you may press star then 1 on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please pick up your handset before pressing the keys. If at any time your question has been addressed and you would like to withdraw your question, please press star then 2. At this time, we will pause momentarily to assemble our roster. The first question comes from Michael Irwin of Univest Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, Michael Irwin, Univest Securities, biotech associate. My first question is, China has been recovering quite well from the COVID-19 outbreak, and things are appearing to be mostly back to normal. Have you seen business returning to normal or about normal levels currently?
Thank you, Michael. We have, as you can see, we have a pretty good increase in numbers, and for some numbers, we even made some new records for this year. So we are expecting a even better report card for the next quarter. Yep.
Okay, my next question is, are there any concerns about the 2 Shanghai locations with the sudden increase in cases in Shanghai region?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Shanghai is a very big city with millions of people. The population of Shanghai is almost as large as the population of Australia. So 1 or 2 single cases will not affect the entire picture. And the local government is doing a great job finding out those cases and treat them with the right treatment. So we are very optimistic about what's going on in Shanghai.
Okay, and there has been a global trend of more males getting these aesthetic treatments. Have you also been seeing this trend in your centers with more males actually coming into your clinics to receive treatment as well?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Currently, we have about 5% of the male patients, but we are expecting more and more male customers in the long run because the consuming behavior of the young Chinese is changing. So yeah, we are expecting more in the future.
Okay, that's all my questions, Michael. Thank you.
The next question comes from Ivy Wang of Univest. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Ivy from Univest. I have 2 questions. The first is, what will the cooperation with Mad Network bring to AIH? And is there any data showing how many customers are attracted by this app to AIH? Thank you.
Thank you, Ivy. As you may know, we are a very traditional and moderate company in the industry. which means currently we don't have too much genes in World Wide Web, but we can let the professional do their part. So like forming an alliance with the network, it's going to help us in a few parts. For example, branding. For example, we are getting more attention from the young customers, and of course, we are expecting an increase in sales. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. So
I don't have the exact number, so maybe we can wait till the next quarter.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So my second question is, can I know more about your future business development plans? Like, if there are any further cooperation plans to build our brand awareness? Thank you.
After the IPO last year, we're expanding very quickly in the country, and we are setting up a few satellite clinics, which is like small clinics surrounding big cities. So we are getting pretty good results from those. And also, we are implementing our online to offline strategy. We are trying to cooperate with Tencent. Maybe we are going to develop our own app in the future, so that we can reactivate our old patients, our old customers. And of course, we can do a lot more on those apps. For example, like selling cosmetic products or other consumption goods on the app. So yeah, a O2O strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you, Ivy.
The next question comes from Steve Halper of Cantor Fitzgerald. Please go.
Hi, good morning. I was just wondering, how much cash did you use for the acquisitions that you completed in the third quarter?
Thank you. We already paid about 20 million RMB. Yeah, that's the cash that we already paid, and we are going to pay a little bit more in the future.
Are those structured as earnouts, and can you quantify what the earnout provisions are?
I don't have the exact number with me right now, but maybe you can shoot us an email, and we can send you the exact numbers back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay? Thank you. Yep.
Again, if you have a question, please press star, then 1 on a touch-tone phone. This concludes our question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back over to Mr. Song-Yik Wang for any closing remarks.
Thank you, Andrew. On behalf of our entire management team, I would like to thank everyone again for joining us today for our conference call. If you have any questions, please contact us through emails at ir@panai.com.cn or reach our IR consultant, Essent Investor Relations, at Tina Xiao at essent-ir.com. Management will respond to your question as soon as possible. We appreciate your interest and support in Aesthetic Medical International and look forward to speaking with you again next time. Andrew, please go ahead.
Thanks everyone again for attending Aesthetic Medical International's third quarter 2020 unaudited earnings conference call. This concludes our call today, and we thank you all for listening in. Goodbye.